Welcome to Good for Bitcoin, a weekly show recorded live every Friday, where we recap the top events of the week and talk about everything that is good for Bitcoin. If it's built on Bitcoin, then it's good for Bitcoin. Let's get started.
Content shared on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, or company. We encourage you to conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Good for Bitcoin. Excited to be back. We missed last week, and I think we're gonna miss next week too. It's been kind of a struggle this past couple of months. Happening on Fridays, it's in December, maybe even for Thanksgiving too. I don't think we did a show for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know.
All these holidays that happen on Thursdays and Fridays, it really hurts the show.
We might have to rethink our strategy here, but yeah, I agree. It's tough because you want to enjoy life, but at the same time, you want to keep it consistent too. So I don't know. Maybe we'll come back to the drawing board on this. But
the news doesn't stop. We got to keep the show moving.
Gotta keep it moving. It's funny though. I had a dream last night that you bailed on me today.
Oh my God.
It's not an anxiety. I guess it's an anxiety dream, but it's when you're thinking about something, and I used to have it because I used to work in restaurants, and so I'd have this recurring dream where I'd have 20 tables and I couldn't get to all of them. Well, now it's that you don't show up to the show and I'm here alone reading the news.
I've lived that dream a few times, not because you bailed on me, but I knew that it was going to happen. But yeah,
that's funny.
That's no fun. Well, I'm sorry for doing that, I guess. Apologizing for something that I did in a dream.
I accept your apology, but yeah, I was so hyped about the show today. I couldn't I was dreaming about it. Yeah,
well, we missed last week. I don't know how much it's been talked about, but the Stacks Labs folks were all meeting in person last week. It was our first time meeting in person. Super productive, I think. I'm very, very excited to start talking about why we all met in person, but that was why we didn't have the show last week, is because we were there, and I'm just going to be on a vacation next week, so I will be not working and enjoying my time off.
Good. That's good. Yeah, I'm excited for you. You guys are going to have fun with whatever you're doing. But it was good. Last week was really fun, and obviously we'll have a lot to share about it in the coming weeks and months and everything. But I feel like everyone feels like there's something coming, or something needs to change or something needs to happen. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of excitement coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been having a lot of conversations with folks this week about just general, impatience on things, which is it's kind of the norm of how it's kind of been over the past couple of months. Things are moving maybe more in the background and on the back end, and it's not as maybe publicly visible.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've been thinking about is whenever people ask when CMO on Stacks, it's just I can't imagine knowing what is kind of coming now. If we had a CMO a year ago, it almost would have been I don't want to say a waste of money, but it's just now that there's a clear path of what product is going to be delivering, it feels it's this year, now is a good time to start executing on that. So
agreed.
Yeah. But yeah, lots to get into, some stuff that we missed last week. Well, one, I remember telling you about it in person. I was did you hear how much Michael Saylor bought of Bitcoin last week? Strategy bought 22,305 BTC last week, which is their fourth largest buy ever. And they bought another 2,932 BTC this week. So they now hold 712,647. I think I saw that they're getting very close to how much Bitcoin BlackRock is holding for IBIT.
Wow.
So I think they're less than 100,000 Bitcoin away, I think, from surpassing them. So that's just crazy that just one company has that much Bitcoin.
I wonder if they'll hit it by the middle of the year. For sure, they'll hit it by the end of the year.
Yeah,
But,
where's the
like,
poly
who
market
knows?
on that?
Yeah, or the Coinbase.
True.
Are they just like these large sums just come by like how much they raise, like week over week kind of thing, and like if they have a big week, they can buy more. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think so. It's like a combination of like sometimes they'll like issue more stock and they'll like dilute their stock
Yeah.
of like MSTR, and then sometimes they'll what I think the majority of it is their like all the STRC and like all their like different like financial instruments that they have that are like paying dividends. Just like more people are buying them, which is driving the price above like $100 per share, and then they take some of that and like sell it or something to like equalize it to bring it back to $100 per share, and then with that proceeds they buy more Bitcoin with it.
Nice.
So all these weird financial instruments that we don't have access to.
Yeah. And then the American Bitcoin Corporation, this is the Trump family associated one, now holds 5,000. They just recently added 416 to their balance sheet, and they do this through accumulation, through mining and buying. And this marks them as the 18th largest Bitcoin holder.
It is pretty interesting that they are mining.
I know. They have like 78,000 servers or something.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, as they accumulate more, I'm sure like more people will like start to talk about them. But I feel like the Bitcoin side of like what Trump is doing isn't really talked about as much as like all the controversy of like the Trump coins and like, you know, all the other junk that they're also doing in the industry.
Yep.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Also, he has like a media company that holds more than the American Bitcoin Corp. So like he has like multiple holdings that all hold Bitcoin.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we also had Metaplanet have forecasted, just because it's a new year, they have forecasted revenue of $100 million in 2026, fueled by their Bitcoin income generation business. So they're not just like passively holding their Bitcoin, they are actively deploying it. In their kind of press release, it says that they use their company's BTC holdings as collateral to generate revenue through structured option strategies. So yeah, just interesting to see that, you know, I'm sure they've been like doing this for a while, but you don't really hear about like strategy doing anything specifically with their Bitcoin other than holding it. So it's just interesting to see what these different companies are doing.
Nice. And then Steak and Shake, they bought $5 million worth of Bitcoin. And they also announced that starting March 1st, all of their hourly employees that work at their restaurants will receive a Bitcoin bonus of 21 cents for every hour worked. That's so cool. They'll be able to collect their Bitcoin pay after a 2-year vesting period, that is what it is. But they're doing this partnership with Fold. I don't know. It's cool. They've got to be the first company to ever do this.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked, you know, retail at Microsoft for a long time, and I think like the best thing that I got out of working there was when I first started working there, I think I was like 18 or 19 years old, and like one of the managers was like, make sure that you like buy into the stock options, like do all that stuff and like set it and forget it. And like it ended up working out very well, like for me being there for, you know, 8 or 9 years at Microsoft. So I like that, you know, it's just teaching. I personally don't mind the 2-year vesting period thing.
Yeah.
I think like it makes a lot of sense because like 2 years from now, most likely the price of Bitcoin is going to be higher. And it's just like an education moment, right? Where if you had cashed it out immediately, you know, with each paycheck versus holding it for 2 years and then selling it, you're most likely you're going to be out ahead. By a pretty big margin with that. So I don't mind it. I guess they also probably want like retention, right? They don't want people sticking around for 2 years. That makes easier sense for an employer.
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's like any company. And it's also like a built-in lesson learned, right? Because like you said, if you just take that out every paycheck versus you're forced to wait, you'll see how much that has compounded and you'll be like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, it's dollar cost averaging, right? It's kind of basically what it is. Yeah, I mean, 21 cents an hour is like, if you're a part-time worker, not a lot of money. Probably, you know, maybe you're getting what, like, can't be more than $10 a Bitcoin.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Week. So yeah, I mean, it'll add up over time. So makes sense to me.
All right.
Okay. Lots of stablecoin news this week. That is what we titled the show, because it seems like Bitcoin companies are pivoting to stablecoins a little bit more and more these days. But first one is Tether. They have officially launched USAT, which we've talked about before, but now it has officially launched. This is their quote made in America stablecoin. So they launched their federally regulated dollar-backed stablecoin. And this is developed specifically to operate within the US under the framework that was established by the Genius Act. So under the Genius Act, you need to hold, one-to-one backed, right? Stable coins to US dollars or treasuries. But the way that USDT works is, they have a lot of other things that they're collateralizing it with, which are like generally safe things, but it just doesn't fit within the framework of the Genius Act. So yeah, USAT, it's issued by Anchorage Digital. And also as a reminder, former White House Crypto Council Executive Director Bo Hines, he is the CEO of USAT. This I thought was very interesting. It's from their press release. It says Tether Group is the 17th largest holder of US treasuries globally, ahead of sovereign holders including Germany, South Korea, and Australia. That is a lot of money that they are holding on behalf of their stablecoin holders. And yeah, USAT is now available now on Bybit, Crypto.com, Kraken, OKX, and MoonPay as their sort of day one partners.
Yeah. You also mentioned you saw a headline that it was titled, Tether has amassed the largest known hoard of gold outside of nation states and banks equaling over 140 tons, which it keeps safe in a nuclear bunker. I don't know if that part is true. Like, who knows where it's actually held? But 140 tons is like 24 billion, I think. And obviously, like, this puts them as one of the largest holders. So yeah, they hold a lot in their reserves for sure.
And yeah, so that like gold is a great example of like, some of their reserves are backed by like gold.
Yeah.
Which isn't allowed under the Genius Act, but also look at how the performance of gold has been this year. Gold has gone up a lot, especially compared to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So they're doing okay. I think Tether's going to make it.
Yeah. And like, again, one of the reasons why it has to be like a separate thing than USDT is because, under the Genius Act, it can't pay yield just by like holding the coin. And there's like a lot of like structural issues, like setting it up in a different country. And like you said, like, yeah, it needs to be backed by certain reserves. So I think it was just done in like a clean split so that it can be very separate from USDT versus USAT.
Yeah. And we're going to get into this next one too, which is that Fidelity also is launching their own stablecoin with the ticker FIDD, which stands for Fidelity Digital Dollar. And I think we talked about it when we originally were speaking about USAT on Tether. And it's like, why would I use USAT over, like, as a US, citizen, why would I use USAT over USDC, which has like way more liquidity? USAT is a separate token. It's not like interchangeable fully with, USDT. So if I go on a DEX right now, there's probably not a lot of USAT liquidity compared to USDT or USDC. Yeah. So like, why would I use USAT or FIDD when it's just, I don't know, these products, because stablecoins are now so tightly regulated in the US, they're all kind of like the same. Like, what is like the differentiating, factor between all these? So it's just interesting. I don't think that there's like a really good answer. One thing that Fidelity said in their press release that I thought was like a little interesting is they said that possessing their own stablecoin is also likely to make Fidelity's various wealth management platforms more efficient, since moving dollars on a blockchain is cheaper and faster than using traditional networks like ACH. So that kind of makes sense, kind of more vertically integrating their financial system. But again, like, yeah, I don't see myself really using FIDD because like USDC works great and it's just as safe because it's protected by the Genius Act. And I don't know.
I guess the only thing that I would think of is like if they're holding someone's funds or an institution's funds that like really don't want to touch blockchain at all, like maybe they can force them into using FIDD and it like boosts their own numbers or something. But again, I don't really see the huge benefit in it. Yeah,
it's like a walled garden kind of approach, I guess. Mm-hmm. But like that's anti to like DeFi and, decentralization and everything. So yeah, it's kind of just a weird situation.
This next story is so funny.
This is crazy. I was like reading this Twitter thread and I was like kind of going deep in it. So yeah, did you see this, or how deep did you go on this article?
I just read Zach's thread, Zach XVT, and I was like kind of just like clicking through comments and like he always has like the loopholes of like go to this thread. So I was like reading through that. I haven't actually read the CoinDesk version of it.
Yeah, so Zach XBT, prolific crypto sleuth, I guess, like scammer, like he figures out where the money's moving, who did it, everything like that. Yeah. So he posted this thread about this guy, John DeGita, who's also known as Lick, and has like a lot of other pseudonyms as well. And he has allegedly, this guy stole $40 million of crypto from the US government. And it gets much, much crazier. Basically, I guess this guy was seen like flaunting millions of dollars in crypto. He was sort of like proving like, oh yeah, I stole this money and this is my money and here's my wallet address is where I'm keeping it and stuff like that. And like, you know, Zach XBT saw that and started going down the rabbit hole like he does and tracking everything down. And here's where it gets crazy. So John's dad is Dean DeGita, and he is the president of Command Services and Support Incorporated, or CMDSS. And CMDSS currently has an active IT government contract in Virginia. And this contract was awarded to them to assist the U.S. Marshal Service in managing and disposing of seized and forfeited crypto assets. So naturally, there is a very close connection between this guy, Lick, and you know, the father who is contracted to safely custody this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very unclear exactly how he got access to the seized funds. I guess the U.S. Marshals are now investigating that claim that there was $40 million that was sold by this guy. And yeah, this case is just kind of, it's raised some concerns. It's raised like, one, you know, the U.S. still doesn't seem like it's done that audit that was originally promised. You know, knowing how much BTC they have, having it all in one place, having really tight monitoring controls and everything so that stuff like this doesn't happen. And also, of course, this would happen on Wednesday. Wallets that were linked to John launched a Lick coin on pump.fun, and it surged to like a $2.3 million market cap before a massive sell-off. Of course, it was like a pump and dump. And of course, he like made off with more money through that. But yeah, really crazy story.
It's so
pretty
funny.
Wild.
One of the comments was like, wait, hold up. So like this dad manages the liquidation of stolen assets from the US government, and his kid steals those stolen assets from his dad, and the only reason he gets caught is because he wanted to like flex on some other anonymous criminal or something. Like, it's so funny. And like the first thing you think is they're in on it together, but then you see like his actions. It's like like why would you then go flex on video? Like, this is clearly, I mean, not clearly, but like it doesn't seem very much like it was a concerted effort together.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this guy's not very smart. He's gonna get caught. Like, there's now an active investigation against him, and the paper trail is pretty, you know, especially from folks like Zach, you know, that do this stuff for a living, right? With creating these paper trails, pretty obvious now. So justice will be served, I guess.
Amazing.
But
I wonder if he like would have, if he like, I wonder if he like would have got away with it if he
just kept his mouth shut. Yeah. Who knows? There's so much stuff like this that happens. Do you remember like when when like going through FTX was like actively shutting down, like people were actively getting rugged, and then while that was happening, FTX also got like a bunch of assets like stolen from them. And people were like speculating that it was like some inside job, like employee that did it. And I don't think it was ever discovered who did it.
Nope.
But like stuff like this happens just like all the time. It's crazy. Yeah. Large sums of money, like $40 million. And then like it happens and they just like don't recognize it or whatever. And then, yeah, I don't know. Crazy story. Next one, we have an update on the Clarity Act. We talked a lot about this a couple weeks ago, but there's been a little bit of movement there. So I don't know why they don't call it the Clarity Act anymore. Now it's called the Digital Commodity Intermediaries Act, which is very boring. So we're going to keep calling it the Clarity Act. But basically, this act advanced out of the U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee on Thursday, marked a really significant milestone because this is the first time that a market structure bill like this has been cleared by a Senate committee. So it is actually moving through now. And as a reminder, also, this bill basically regulates digital commodities like Bitcoin to the CFTC and not the SEC, and it just provides a lot of clarity for how they should be treated. But yeah, the committee voted 12 to 11 along strict party lines. So of course, all Republicans voted yes, all Democrats voted no, but the bill still moved forward. So next steps is basically, this is only the Agriculture Committee's portion, which is more CFTC focused. Now the Senate Banking Committee still needs to advance its part of the bill, and then they sort of get like merged together somehow, and then it goes to a vote in the so no timeline yet on exactly when that's going to happen, but it is, I guess, at least progressing a little slowly, maybe than we would like, but it's still moving along. So just a quick update there on the bill formerly known as the Clarity Act.
Nice. The next one is pretty cool. I like this one. So the New York Stock Exchange announced that they are developing a platform for trading and on-chain settlement of tokenized securities. So the idea of this is like it's a digital platform that would allow tokenized trading experiences, and this would include 24/7 operations, which is obviously ideal for the crypto world, instant settlement, order sized in dollar amounts, and stablecoin based funding.
Yeah, I think this one happened last week that we missed, so I wanted to make sure that we covered it. I think it's a pretty big deal. It seems like not as many people, I feel like there were a couple of people like talking about it on my feed last week, but not as much. It just, I mean, it's the New York Stock Exchange. So like the fact that they're launching a platform like this that is directly integrating like stable coins and like 24/7 trading, just another sign that like TradFi and you know, DeFi and everything is like coming together into just Fi. So very cool development there. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But we have some quick headlines as well. We mentioned at the top of the show, but Coinbase is also doing prediction markets now. The one thing that I thought that was interesting is it's just like a straight up prediction market. I feel like some of these, especially like US companies, are doing prediction markets, but they're only doing like sports betting and stuff because it's like a little bit more financial or like the regulations are a little clearer, I think, when it comes to that. But when you go on coinbase.com/predictions, there's, you know, government shutdown on January 31st. And there's some sports stuff on here too. There's like Bitcoin price predictions, like I'm looking at it right now. So, you know, it's what you would kind of expect, but pretty interesting. It seems like all these different companies are just copying, you know, Polymarket and just running their own prediction playbook. Yeah.
I checked it out a little bit. It seems like some of the markets like have quite a bit of volume, even just like from the last 24 hours. Some of them get upwards of like 30 million. So I'm sure it'll do well. I wonder if they'll ever transition it to Base. I don't know. Just because like everything that they offer is now on Base, like Base Build, Base Pay, Base Play, Base.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
One thing that I didn't really look at too much is like how the odds are settled. Like, is it like settled, you know, on like a DeFi, or like, you know, who is judging the outcomes? Is it is it Coinbase? Is it like a third party? I didn't look too deep into it yet, but that would be interesting to see.
Next one is I know you're super excited about it, and something that you would kind of like vouch for internally of like, we should do something about this, but Bitcoin Layers was acquired by Blockspace Media. So just want to shout out to the team. We're excited that their platform is going to live on. It's been such a useful resource for me, honestly, getting like acquainted with stacks and just like the whole Bitcoin ecosystem. And so when we saw that like they just weren't able to like continue operations, it was like kind of a bummer, but this is awesome.
Yeah, congrats to Janus, congrats to I think Red and all the other folks that are over there. Yeah, couldn't be going to a better home, right? Like Blockspace is awesome. We've had Charlie on the show, you know, from there as well. So really, really cool. And yeah, I don't know, like if you go on their site, if it still says they took it away, that's great. It used to be when you went to bitcoinlayers.org, it would like give you this message that would say like, hey, this is like no longer actively maintained, but like you can go here if you want to.
Yeah.
So that message is gone now. So very cool. Yeah, bitcoinlayers.org, really fantastic reference. So yeah, we love to see that they are sticking around. That's great.
Love it.
Next one is we have a couple bills here. So South Dakota Senator Logan Manhart has introduced House Bill 1155 in South Dakota. This would allow them to invest up to 10% of their investment portfolio in Bitcoin. As of June 2025, their total assets, South Dakota's total assets under management was 20.56 billion. So that means that they would be able to purchase a max Bitcoin allocation of $2.05 billion if the bill were to pass. And I guess South Dakota had a bill last year that was very similar and it kind of just stalled out. So this is sort of like a renewed version of that. I was also sad to see, speaking of Bitcoin layers, that our other resource, Bitcoin Laws, doesn't seem like it's being maintained either. Which is unfortunate because that, like, I saw this and then I went there to go check it out, and then they haven't tweeted in like a few months. So that's sad. RIP to Bitcoin Laws. But I guess we'll just keep bringing the news, but it's a little harder because that was a really nice resource.
Yeah, it was super good. And then the next one is based out of Rhode Island. So the senators there are introducing S2198. It's a bill to study Bitcoin. So it's kind of like have a plan of a plan, or like a concept of a plan.
Yep.
So it's not like an immediate investment into Bitcoin, but they're basically proposing a 5-member commission to study Bitcoin and crypto and then recommend a future legislation at a later date.
Yeah, I saw this one too, and this isn't like directly crypto adjacent, but as an ex Microsoft employee, I was pretty sad to read this. Apparently, Microsoft gave the FBI keys to unlocked encrypted data, which is obviously exposing this major privacy flaw that Windows has. So if you are a Windows user, especially if you have one of the newer Windows operating systems, most likely your disks are encrypted by this Microsoft technology called BitLocker. But I guess the BitLocker private keys are backed up by Microsoft in case you lose something happens, right? You can recover your data, but it's not backed up in an encrypted way. So Microsoft has access to those keys, which is kind of scary, right? If you think that your computer is encrypted, you just assume that nobody can access it except for you, but that is apparently not the case. So just a good reminder that protecting your private keys is not just related to crypto. Just a good reminder to just check your security and how things are getting backed up. And I don't know if there's like a really awesome alternative on Windows for like full disk encryption. Maybe there is, but yeah, BitLocker is just kind of like, it's what's built into the operating system. So everybody has that and uses it. But I was upset to see that.
Yeah, and there's like criticism saying like their architectural around this like doesn't have to be that way, but like they could have made like a more encrypted choice. Because it's saying like Apple, Google, WhatsApp, like they really cannot access the keys, but like Microsoft just hasn't built their architecture in the same way. I don't know if
we actually talked about Apple's solution on the show like a year ago.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, when it's like advanced, I think it's called advanced data protection.
Yes.
You have to turn that on, and then it's like end-to-end encrypted, so like not even Apple can access it. So yeah, look into that if you are listening. Yeah, encrypt your data. I think that wraps it up though for the week, or for the last couple weeks. Again, we will not see you next week, but I think after next week we will have like a more
good cadence, more
good
regular
cadence
show.
Going. Yeah, we'll try to figure out how to be a little bit more consistent on this show. Maybe if we like record early or pre-record or do something. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. But yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Now I get to go on vacation.
Woo! Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Have an awesome time.
Yeah. I didn't take any time off. Well, you know this. I didn't take any time off over the holidays. So yeah, this is my holiday break where I don't have to work. So yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, we will see y'all in a couple weeks. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you around.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.